Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The intake and exhaust process in the combustion chamber are regulated by valves, and the valve's reciprocating motion is controlled by camshaft. The cam lobe leaf on the camshaft determines the width of the valve opening that opens at the intake stroke and exhaust stroke. The wider the valve gap, the easier it is for air to enter the combustion chamber at higher RPM. And the lobe opening angle determines the valve opening duration. The cam lobe leaf will further affect engine performance at high RPMs when the valve opening time is getting shorter. At high RPM, the valve itself limits the amount of air entering the combustion chamber. But at lower RPM, the valve lift greatly affects the torque produced by the engine, because every valve opening opposes the valve spring. The high valve lift will be additional load to the crankshaft that drive the camshaft to push the valve. In vehicles that prioritize economic aspect, a low camshaft profile and a short valve opening angle are the best choice. Because the low valve lift reduces the flow of air and fuel to the combustion chamber, resulting in a fuel-saving vehicle. The low cam profile also reduces the load on the crankshaft, so that the torque at lower RPM is still maintained. The vehicle still has good acceleration and economical fuel consumption. Honda developed VTEC to keep the vehicle economic and have a good torque at the lower RPM, as well as producing a great peak power at higher RPM. VTEC stands for Variable Valve Lift and Timing Electronic Control. VTEC uses 3 cams to drive the valve, where 2 cams are used when the engine is operating at lower end RPM. The 2 low RPM cams have a short valve opening angle, and the middle cam have a high lift profile and longer cam opening angle. At low RPM, both valves that have shorter opening angle are used, because when the piston and camshaft movement is slow, the valve opening time is longer, so that the combustion chamber can still be fully filled with air even though the valve lift is low. But at higher RPM, the valve opening time is very short. If the engine still uses a low valve lift, the piston is not able to draw air to fill the entire combustion chamber. With the VTEC mechanism, by calculating the engine RPM, load, and vehicle speed, an electronic actuator connected via a hydraulic line will push the locking pin on the primary rocker arm and push the pin on the middle rocker arm to relock the secondary rocker arm. The center cam has a higher lift profile and longer opening angle. When all rocker arms are locked, the primary and secondary camshaft cannot control the rocker arm because they have a lower lift, so that all valves controlled by the middle cam will open earlier and close longer with a higher valve lift. With an aggressive camshaft profile, air will be more easily sucked into the combustion chamber at high RPM. The ECU can send more fuel, allowing the engine to operate to a higher RPM and produce more power. When the gas pedal is released, the actuator will return to the starting position, and the pin on the primary rocker arm will return to its original position. In the secondary rocker arm, there is a stopper pin controlled by a spring to push back the pins in the middle rocker arm. With the VTEC mechanism, the vehicle can have a great peak power but still have good fuel consumption. The low lift profile and short duration also reduce the amount of air and fuel entering the combustion chamber, making the engine more fuel saving. In addition, the load to push the valve spring is also reduced, so that at low RPM, the torque is maintained. This mechanism can be installed on the intake valve or both on the intake and exhaust valve. Or, if the vehicle is turbocharged, the VTEC only needs to be installed on the exhaust valve, as in the latest Civic Type R. This mechanism makes Honda cars have a very aggressive power at high RPM. That's all for this video. Please comment if there is something wrong, and I hope this video didn't waste your time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.